Is there a tool that Leatherman has created that's really good that they haven't gotten rid of that is small in stature? Well, I have the Squirt P4. It's one of these tools that I really liked, but Leatherman's no longer makes it. Welcome, this is Haku EDC. This is Multi-Tool Monday. On Mondays, we go through Leatherman's or other multi-tools, and then we just do a little review and comparison of them, and maybe make some suggestions. This tool is discontinued. It is fairly hard to find. I did get this tool myself, and it's been hanging around. This is a tool that there are now, for quite a while, that there weren't tools, at least 4 or 5 years, there weren't tools in this category that were very small and that came with essentially pliers. But I'll talk about that in a second. This is a pretty small tool. This is a juice. So it's like 60% the size of a juice. And the juice is also something that no longer exists. This is a manager from Victorinox, and it's about, lengthwise, is about the size of a manager. Thickness-wise, it's a little thicker than a manager is. Especially this manager, because it is a midnight manager, which means it has a light in it. So it's going to be a little wider than the normal manager. I think that this is one of the tools that Leatherman was putting together to actually compete with Victorinox. They actually were on the brink of making a more superior tool in my mind, but they missed out on a couple of small detail points. Before I go through that, let's just go through this really quickly. This tool's got what I call your tool screwdriver layer. So with this, you has a screwdriver. You can use this on Phillips. This is a little pointy, but it's not something that you can really dig into with. It does come with a cap lifter right here that works okay. It's not the greatest, but it'll work okay. Then on this side here, you have tools. You have an awl, which is, except for making holes, it's completely useless. This would be used for Phillips, but also possibly a small scraper. Missed out an opportunity, and I'll say what the opportunity is in just a second. This is your knife, and this is a fairly good size knife. If you want to compare it to the Victorinox one, let me get that out. This is the Victorinox one. This knife is going to be thicker, longer, sturdier. So it is a nice size for slicing knife, and it'll cut through pretty much anything when it's sharp. It's not a locking, so it's got a slip lock on it. So be aware of that. On the other side, there's a file. And this file is not fantastic, but it's okay. It is definitely usable. But the coup de grace that people have had this for was not those things, but also a very nice pliers, set of pliers. Oh, look, I left a little oil on them. I did clean them a couple of days ago. These pliers work fairly well to very well, depending upon how you might want to use them. Let me pull this up here. And this thing isn't... So let's look at this particular set of things that you can use it for. Let's say I'm just going to grab onto this, hold it tight, and turn it. And So it'll grab onto things so that you can use it. It's good at grabbing things that are on the table or ground to use. It is definitely a nice set of pliers, something that the Victorinox does not come with. Since Leatherman decided to do away with this and the juice, a number of other companies have come in with pliers. Probably one of the well-known ones is this next tool one, 11-in-1. It's got a set of pliers and has all the other tools that the Leatherman had, plus one other one. That other one is one of the reasons why I think people didn't hold on to this or get this when they could have. As you can tell that the pliers here on the Leatherman are a little bit beefier, they are a little shorter, but they still would work here. I don't think that the Leatherman piece here is good for cutting wires. I think people have tried to cut wires with them, and they do work mediocrely to bad. This part in here does work well, has a crimper in case you want to crimp wires. That will work. What this one has that the Leatherman doesn't have, and also one of the reasons why this still sells a bunch of them every month, is because of one implement. That implement is scissors. I think if this particular item had taken out a couple of the implements and put in scissors, even if they were mediocrely good to below average scissors like these were, that they would have succeeded more. No one complains about the scissors that are on a Victorinox, even when they're this small. The biggest complaint is that they aren't large enough, because they will cut through plastic, they will cut through some forms of cordage, and they will definitely cut through paper and thread. So they're good at precision and they're good at other items. If the Leatherman, in my opinion, had scissors on it, if that model in particular would have taken a couple things out and put in just a little pair of scissors, the Leatherman Squirt would have been a bigger hit than what it was. Nowadays, because they're different shapes, I was looking on eBay, I think that something like this would go for like 50 or 60 bucks on eBay. And I'm surprised by that because their usability is decent, but not great. If they had scissors on them, I think that Leatherman could bring these back and sell them for 40 bucks, 45 bucks easy. Something like this next tool is in I think the $25 range. And so it's a $15 or 30% premium that they could sell these at. Because people would grab the Leathermans, especially inside the US, over the next tools. For 25 years, would make that a great deal to get. This is Haku, EDC. I'll see you in the future.